years ago, if somebody stepped on my foot, you know, I might, you know, I might hurt them, you know what I mean? Versus I look back and step back and watch how other people conduct themselves. They step on the front, say, hey, you stepped on my foot. And it's apology, it's talked out. And it's like, damn, why didn't I do that? Why did I make my life that much harder? What was I taught?
It's exhausting, isn't it?
Right, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I never wanted to do that. It's just that was my conditioning.
I remember a scene in a bowling alley when we were celebrating a book publication, and somebody got angry over a piece of pizza.
A chicken.
Piece of chicken, and I thought all hell was we were going to have a brawl on the lanes of the bowling alley. That's a kind of an exhausting way to live your life.
Part of it is again, the experiences, the trauma, like me learning about trauma, being trauma informed and stuff like that. What happened was somebody took, and we had a party. The food was our food. You know what I mean? Right. We had a large party. Somebody was walking by that was a part of another party and took a piece of chicken. Now, when they took a piece of chicken, ultimately, most of us took it as disrespect. Usually what happens is when somebody directly disrespects you, it's almost like they're doing it on purpose and they're already prepared to almost like poke the bear to engage in whatever warfare. So that's how the mindset was thinking, like they would never do this on purpose. They must have something set up, you know what I mean? Even though it happened not to play out that way, that's how our minds are always thinking, like, you know what I mean? It's always traumatic. Almost like, hey, if you let that slide, as soon as we go outside, we end up getting shot at or robbed. Like, you know, it's almost like everything, it kind of like plays in our head like that because of our past experiences. So thank God that didn't work out that way. And thank God we start to recognize that overreacting, it shouldn't even be part of a reaction. The location is we talking about a rich history in the location where
the bowling alley,
like where it's located. So many murders have happened there. So many attempted murders have happened there. So many robberies, rape, all of that.
You didn't tell me that before you invited me there.
Because you were protected by us. So we knew what it was.
Right.
So for anybody to do that in that area, it's kind of like, oh shit, we got a problem. It's almost like if we go to like the some part in the Middle East or Africa, and we know it's known for this criminal activity, and something happens there, it's almost like be alert. We have a dysfunctional way of loving one another. You know what I mean? Not you and I, the streets. We love really, really dysfunctional.
Talk about that.
You know what I mean? And what happens is we think that love is shown by killing somebody, hurting somebody, it always has to be.
So if I love you, I'm gonna kill that guy who's threatening you, and that proves my love.
Correct.
When you start that process of arresting this sort of cycle of violence in a victim, how do you have to stay on them?
Experience, like, you know what I mean? So body language, you know, them talking, you know what I mean? Certain response, you can tell that, you know, they are gonna be all right. And then follow-up is always important. You have to do a follow-up. So I can calm somebody down, get them down to a baseline, but if I don't check up on them the next day, later on that night, you know, these things are important, you know?
Consistent.
Yeah, consistency is always important.
Yeah.
You know, food is important. You know what I mean? Breaking bread with somebody, like, you know, all these things are important. Sitting down and talking to somebody on eye level, all of this stuff is vital. Like, you know what I mean? I've learned it over the years, these different techniques, versus me standing in this tower over you as an authority figure. Your body goes into the defense, your brain already clicks on, and half of the stuff I'm explaining to you that's going to help you, you don't hear.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, teaching other practitioners when they're doing this work on how to do it properly, is all of that is key. We know it can be used in any organization, any group of people, any individual person. So, you know how we say, like, you know, some of these, you know, law enforcement are, you know, doing too much. They can literally learn how to do the same thing that I'm doing, because there's no way in hell that they're more volatile than gangs. We do it on a daily. You know, they might have shot somebody, you know, once in their whole career. You know what I mean? We do that target. So we understand it better. The person that they need to learn from is us, because we can teach you how to manage it, you know, and not kill your whole family and blow your brains out. because that's what they're doing. We live this. Like, so take the advice, learn from it, so that these kind of things don't happen.
I want you to talk about women in your life, because I think they've been a huge force in your life.
Right.
Same with =𝗓𝗏.
Yeah. You're right. Shit, all the women.
And
Like,
women aren't scared of you, which...
Nah, we definitely had a strong team of women that, like, that was different too. Like, everything we've done in our life through gangs has been warfare, where it's been men, heavy artillery, like everything has been brass. So when the women showed us another way of fighting,
they showed you the soft way of fighting.
yeah, and that shit was more powerful than anything. The tongue and the sword.
Yeah.
The sword was the pen, and that moved mountains.
I know that early on you guys were working with a therapist,
Right,
who worked with people who had survived wars. What did you learn from him?
that they weren't just the present traumas, they were deeply rooted traumas that attracted us to the recent traumas. Just being really, really trauma informed about myself and other people around me helps you avoid a lot of like carnage and mass destruction mentally, you know? So, for instance, you know, I've experienced, like, you know me, sexual abuse early in my life. I didn't know that will connect me to poor relationships or toxic relationships or accepting certain things because of what happened to me. Because I didn't get healing from it, you end up being attracted to that particular type of trauma, where that it's a high likelihood that if someone is molested or raped early on, that they might be molested and raped again. Same thing with robbery, and that's how we treat, you know, violence as
Just keeps rolling.
Yep, as a disease, because once you get stuck with it and you get this disease in you of violence, for something in your head, it alters the way that you think and the way that you move in your actions, and you end up being attracted to it.
It has an addiction component, is almost like what you're saying.
Yep, you're right.